If you're a white belt or you're newer to Jiu Jitsu, you've probably seen the same 4 or 5 submissions right out of the gate, and they probably all feel nearly impossible to finish or even start. We're gonna cover 3, and I'm gonna give you some nice tips and some slight adjustments to make these actually usable while you train and while you spar. So if that sounds like you're in the right place. Let's dive in. I know as a white belt, I would see certain submissions and I would almost think to myself, there's no way this is gonna work. I can't even do it with a partner who isn't giving me any resistance. And it really isn't a matter of not being able to do it. It's just a matter or lack of experience. Jiu-Jitsu is a battle of inches. And once you find the proper alignment and the proper setup that works for you, all of this stuff starts to come together really nicely. So we're gonna cover, first off, the head and arm choke, AKA the arm triangle. Now, I really like this one because it is essentially a triangle. You're trapping the shoulder and the neck all in one encompassing lock so that your opponent's shoulder chokes one side of the carotid and your arm chokes the other side of the carotid, the other side of their neck. So this is a really powerful choke and it's really easy to do, especially once you know the proper steps. What I like to do is move one of his arms to the opposite side. This creates that opportunity for me to create the triangle lock. So as you can see here, I get an underhand grip of his right tricep, and then with my other arm, I get an underhand grip of his right wrist. Now what I'm doing is I'm just forcing that right arm across to the left side so that his tricep is exposed to me. Once I have that tricep exposure, I drop my chest down on top of his tricep to trap his arm. Now, as you see, my right arm goes underneath the arm that I have trapped and then underneath his neck. I pop my butt up and then I knee slide over his body off to my left, his right. Now what I need to do is I need to keep my head and neck really low on his shoulder. If I keep my head and neck closer to his elbow, this isn't gonna work. I need to sink down low, closer to his shoulder joints. And then once I'm here, I can begin to circle out and away so that I'm perpendicular to him, right? I'm making essentially a T. Now, once I've established this perpendicular position, I can remove all the slack through my arms by pulling my arms tight against his neck. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna get up on my toes and push my body, almost like I'm doing calf raises, into his shoulder. By pushing my body into his shoulder, I'm closing off his carotid on that side of his neck. Now my arms on the other side of his neck are closing off his far side carotid. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm trapping blood inside his brain, which will create the blood choke that I want. Another thing that you can do as a white belt is don't expect immediate taps with blood choke. Sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds to hold this. If it takes you longer than 10 seconds, you probably don't have it, and I would look for readjustments. And one final detail I want to cover on this is the reason why I'm keeping my foot high when I knee slide over his body. I don't want to keep my foot low because if he catches me in quarter guard, that's just another problem I have to deal with. And I did cover a guard passing video where we solve this problem, breaking free from this quarter guard position, because if you just try to rip your foot out, it's probably not going to come out. So as you can see here, I'm using my free foot and I'm pushing off his top leg. This will unravel that quarter guard lock, and then I can slide into that perpendicular position to find the choke. But if you keep your foot high the whole time and away from his legs, you don't even have to worry about this step. So if you aren't doing this one yet, I highly recommend you start getting reps on it. Most people don't realize this, but your gear can either help you or hold you back. Now, I've been training in Jiu-Jitsu gear for a long time, and most of it looks good online, but falls apart when it actually matters. That's exactly why I wear X Martial. This isn't just clean designs, it's performance-built gear. You get a compression fit that actually moves with you, durability that holds up during the hardest of rounds, and designs that don't look like every other basic rash guard on the mat. Whether you're drilling, competing, or going to war with one of your favorite training partners, X Martial is built for it. It's lightweight, it's breathable, and it's made for people who actually train. If you're serious about your jiu-jitsu, your attire should match that. So go check out X Martial, grab yourself a set or 2 or 3, and if you're smart, you use my code IRONWILL to save yourself some money. Train harder, roll longer, and look sharp doing it. Let's get back to the video. Now, this next one, the armbar from guard, was the bane of my existence as a white belt. I could do the techniques while drilling it, but I could never hit it while sparring. It's because for me, I was implementing a lot of steps that didn't need to be there. So we're going to cut down the steps and we're going to implement a nice little trick that will help you complete this even while you're sparring. So as we check the example, you see my partner's in my guard. I can control his posture by bringing my knees to my hips or pushing my knees away. What I want is I want to bring him to me. So I break his posture down by bringing my knees to my chest. Simultaneously, while I'm doing that, I also have my left hand on his right wrist and my right hand reaches over top of his bicep and grabs his tricep. So that when I do break his posture down and I get chest to chest with him, I'm also moving that arm across my body. So that essentially, again, I'm putting his tricep against my chest. Now from here, it's very easy for me to reach up with my left hand and grab his neck to make sure his posture stays broken down. Now we're gonna implement that little trick I told you about. Instead of putting my foot on the hip and adjusting my body to where I can, push off his hip and become perpendicular with him, I'm going to use what I call a little hip swing or a pendulum. As you can see here, I open up my legs and I swing my left leg out and away from my opponent, which turns me into that perpendicular position. From here, it's very easy to raise my left leg up and over so I can put my hamstring and the back of my knee on his face. I apply downward pressure there. I also pinch my knees together. And don't forget, you also need your baseball bat style grip on his wrist. Once I have my left leg in place over his face, I'm switching my grip to the baseball bat style grip on his wrist. And then from here, I'm pinching my knees together, pulling my heels to my butt, and then I'm thrusting my hips forward and up to apply the lock to his elbow. And one last tip, just to make sure you guys are doing this right, we all learn that the thumb points to the ceiling in the armbar, and I feel that that can create a training scar because it's not always the case. Once you start learning more arm bars and you're hitting face down or belly down arm bars or inverted arm bars, thumb to the sky isn't always what you want. I essentially want his thumb pointing in the direction I'm hip thrusting in. That applies the proper lock that breaks the arm. So be good to each other on this one. Be careful not to full send it because the arm bar does come on quick. Some of us have more mobility in our elbows than others. Mine lock out pretty immediately, while others you can hyperextend a little bit. Just be aware so that you're not hurting your training partner. But I think if you implement this little hip pendulum movement, it simplifies the armbar a bit so that you get to the finished product a little faster with less steps. If you're not trying it, highly recommend you rep it. Lastly, the triangle. Now this one was also very difficult for me because I didn't know which leg goes over the shoulder, which one goes in the armpit. How do I know which ankle to grab? Which way do I turn so that I can lock this up correctly? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give you some landmarks so that this becomes very easy to remember, and we're gonna give you a setup because the triangle is not gonna work if you're just blindly throwing it up. You need to set this up. So in this example, you see I've got my training partner in my guard. I've got a hold of both of his wrists. Once I have that wrist control, I again like to bring my opponent to me by curling my knees to my chest. He's going to feel that, and most likely he's going to straighten or stiff arm my body to prevent it from happening. This is my cue then to push him back with my knees, and as I do that, I punch his left wrist with my right hand to his diaphragm area of his torso. Once his hand is there, I'm launching my hips up. I'm not just throwing my legs over the shoulders. This is another thing I see people who are learning the triangle try to do. They try to reach for the triangle without doing anything with their hips. That's never gonna work. You need to get your hips off the mat so you can get the leg pit of one of your legs over his shoulder. So in this instance, I'm throwing my right leg over his shoulder. And that's easy to remember because if I'm punching with my right hand, the leg pit of my right leg is going on his shoulder, which means my left leg is going up under his armpit. From there, I lock my feet behind his back. Now, once I'm here, I then curl him back to me with my knees, bringing my knees to my chest. I can then get both hands on his head or even one hand on his head. I essentially need to do this so he can't posture up. If you don't know, one of the easiest ways to fight the triangle from here is just to posture up and away. Once I grab his head, it makes it very difficult to do that. Now, once I have his posture broken down, I can hold his head with my right hand while my left hand reaches for my right ankle. From here, my left foot presses off his hip so that I can turn my body towards the direction of the knee that's over his shoulder. This will make it much easier to lock this choke up, especially on bigger people. Now from here, my left leg goes up and over my right foot so that I'm putting the leg pit of my left knee over top the shoelaces of my right foot. Once you're here, you're basically done. Aim your toes to the ceiling. That'll make it tight. You pinch your knees together. That'll make it tighter. And then you can take both of your hands, put them on the back of his head and pull his head down. You do all these things together and you're going to give him such a powerful choke that his head's going to feel like it's going to explode. And that's just because you're trapping blood inside of his head. It has nowhere to go. And if this has ever been done to you, you know what I'm talking about, feeling like your head's going to pop. It's unforgettable. You can start doing this to your opponents. It's a beautiful thing. And honestly, once you learn the basic triangle, this can be hit from a lot of different places. So it's definitely worth the reps. It's worth the frustration. If you feel like you're not getting it, continue to be patient with it because the triangle is a very, very powerful choke and it's very versatile and it's very hard to beat. If you're not trying these yet, highly recommend you rep it because it's worth its weight in gold. And those are some of my favorite tips on some of the earliest chokes you're going to learn in jiu-jitsu. Don't forget that all of this is going to be frustrating to some degree, and you're probably going to feel a little bit lost, especially when you first start doing this. That's totally normal. You got to give yourself grace and be patient with yourself because it will start to come together. It will start to make sense and it will start to work. If you've been training for a while, what submissions worked for you right out of the gate? And if you are newer, if you're a white belt or a blue belt, what submissions were you learning that worked well for you out of the gate? I want to know about this stuff, guys. I'm always genuinely interested in people's journeys and how I can help better. So drop your comments below. And remember, I may use your comment for a future video. New videos every Monday, guys. You know how I like to end them, sometimes backwards, always forwards. I'll see you in the next one.